So here we are, 7 years later.
7 years later.
And the reader is...
Well, the reader was finished soon after we made the first movie. I think at that point I'd done the underpainting and I was just putting in the flesh tones. And strangely enough, almost to the day, you're back in the studio again in another city, in London, and I'm working on a mirror image of the reader. Reason being that a collector of mine insisted on buying this picture, and I insisted that I wasn't going to sell it.
Why?
Well, I think partly because it's in the film. So there's some record of it being painted, which was a lovely thing, and because I think it's one of the best paintings that I've done. And
do you really feel that?
Yeah, I do. I really like it. It's one of those paintings where there's a nice kind of elegant fusion between the way that the painting has been painted, the technique of the painting and the narrative in the painting. There doesn't seem to be anything kind of superfluous about it. From that point of view, I rather like the work, and I guess we've had it hanging in the house for a while, so we really don't want to part with it. So I reached a compromise with the collector that I'll paint him a mirror image of the work. I do this sometimes, so I rather like the idea of a mirror image, but in this case it's rather significant, I think, because I happen to be working on the painting at this moment when you visited the studio after 7 years, so there is really a nice kind of coincidence working there.
It's uncanny.
It is really uncanny, that's right. I've got, I'm actually also just working on the skin tones at the moment. As you can see, I've just started to, I put the underpainting in and I've just put the flesh tones over the hand, and I'm just starting to work on the face and the hair. And having done that, then I'll use this painting as a reference and put those colours over onto here, so that it will in fact look like a mirror image of that painting when it's finished. Probably difficult to imagine with the sepia underpainting at the moment, but that's the way it will. That's the way it'll end up.
And when do you expect to finish it?
I'll give it a week. Yeah.
That's soon.
Yeah. Well, I'll be working full time on the painting. It's often I find with my work, often the conceptual stage of the work and the drawing up of the canvases takes most of the time. Once the painting starts to develop, it seems to kind of move along, because I know at this point that I will finish the painting, that there's not a lot can say go wrong with the work, and there might be certain colour changes, not necessarily in this case, but there might be certain colour changes that might take place, but basically the work has been put in place. I suppose it's rather like putting the foundations of a house in place. Once they're there, can confidently build the walls and put the roof on, and so there it is, the reader, the readers.